We are live, guys. Welcome, welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
Super excited. So this is our second workshop, and we're gonna get started in a few moments. But I wanted to start a little bit early and have a chat with our workshop coordinator here while folks still trickle in. And so I'm here with Antoine Vuyst. He is a founding member of BDU and the lead architect of the DevCash Bounty platform. He's one of the founding members also of Bitcoin Bay, and he's a blockchain developer and one of the mentors for the hackathon. So everybody give a nice little electronic hand clap for Antoine. Thank you for being here, Antoine. So yeah, before we get started, I wanted to get to know you a little bit better. We've been buddies for the past few years. We've run a few of these hackathons in person before, but I've never asked, how did you get involved with Bitcoin Bay? Like, I know you're one of the founding members. How did it come about?
Well, we started doing meetups in 2014. We used to go to the same meetups in Toronto, hosted by Anthony Diorio at Bitcoin Decentral. It's where Ethereum was born. And we started doing our own meetups. And we kept going. We just did a meetup every 2 weeks. We just brought the community together to talk about crypto and shoot the shit. So yeah, we basically, like, that's how we meet as community members, as project founders. We meet at meetups. So we all met at meetups, and we started our own meetup. And then, like me, Jerry, Leo, Alwyn, Edward, started going. We were all going to all the meetups, so we decided we wanted to sort of just go to some meetings and just to try doing something more than meetups. So that's how Bitcoin Bay came about. Came about from meetups, which we still have. So I consider meetups kind of like the core backbone of Bitcoin Bay and Toronto meetups. And so we just try to do a bunch of different things, connect startups with investors, like do work on development projects, blockchain development projects, a bunch of different stuff. So yeah, everything you know about Bitcoin Bay, and of course hackathons. Yeah. So we do the hackathons, and here we are.
That's awesome. Exactly. Here we are. So that's amazing. Yeah, I didn't get the full story before, but that's cool. So speaking of hackathons, you've been a part of many hackathons yourself. We've run a few hackathons together. Do you have any advice for people who this is their first hackathon? And I know we've got like some non-technical folks here too, so that's the first time we've really reached out to these folks. So do you have any advice for these people?
Well, I always come at these things from a developer perspective, and having a working app is the most valuable thing you can have at the end of a hackathon. It doesn't matter how simple it is, as long as it just works. Something that's just simple and works. So if you have someone on your team who already knows how to do that, that's great. Then you can focus on the other stuff. But if you don't have that yet, then even if you're not a developer, I would say just learn how to do a basic app, because just that fact of having a working app is a really valuable thing at a hackathon, and it really multiplies all of your other efforts, which are undoubtedly also valuable. Your ideas, your slides, your pitches, those things are all very, very valuable. But all of those things plus a working app is like multiplies the effect, as opposed to all of those things without the working app. So if you don't have a working app in the pipeline, just do it yourself. I mean, it's not actually that difficult. Even if you're not a developer, this tutorial is geared towards just getting a basic working app, or working dApp rather, decentralized app. So a front end that connects to a smart contract where you can click around and actually do things on the blockchain. So actually call smart contract functions. So yeah, that's the advice I'll give. Do what it takes to get a working app, and even if you don't feel confident as a programmer, I'll still try and still follow this tutorial and just get it done. It's not as hard as you might think, but the value of it is very, very high.
Awesome. Sweet. I think that's some super valuable advice there. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so we're going to jump into the workshop really soon. I see folks are still trickling in here. So before we just jump into it, I want to draw your attention quickly just below the screen here. There are two little things I want to point out to you. First of all, we got a poll. We got a couple polls going on. I see that some folks are already answering. Are you looking to go full-time crypto? We got 2 yeses. We got 3 yeses. We got a part-time, and we got a 1 just seeing what happens, trying to have some fun. That's awesome. I asked also, have you found a team for your hackathon? We got a clear indecisive mix. We got working alone. That's amazing that you're going to go it alone. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Pardon me. We got a nope, looking for a team still. So for you looking for a team still, I would head over to the team formation chat. You can even use the chat here to maybe make a little announcement of what you want to work on or what your skills are, and hopefully we can find you a team here. If you need any help, please send us a message on the Discord. And we got one team is ready to hack. I'd like to see that. That's super awesome. I also wanted to know, this is it's morning here where I am in North America, but I'm typically not a morning person, but there was something about this morning that I was just revved up and excited because we have the hackathon going on. So I'm super glad to be here with you guys. I got my coffee. I'm gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this together. For all you nighttime people, I'm a nighttime person too. I'm gonna take a little sip.
No coffee for me.
That's awesome. So more nighttime people than morning people. That's just how it goes. We'll check back on these polls towards the end. But yeah, thanks for all those that have filled it out so far. Another thing I want to draw your attention to just below the screen is the Ask a Question function. Super awesome piece of Crowdcast here. So while we're going through the workshop, please use the Ask a Question function. Antoine is going to be going kind of at a normal pace, and if you get stuck on anything, you can feel free to ask a question. We'll try our best to debug it quickly on the air, but if anything goes terribly awry, please meet us over in the Discord, and we will definitely help you out. We'll sort you out. Even if we need to jump on like a screencast separately just with you, we're going to get you all figured out. Cool. So I think that is it for me on the housekeeping side of things. For those of you that joined in a little bit after, I'd like to introduce to you Antoine de Vuyst. He's the founder of the BDU, lead architect of the DevCash Bounty platform. He's one of the founding members of Bitcoin Bay, and he's a blockchain developer and one of the mentors for this hackathon. So again, let's welcome Antoine as he takes over the cast and takes us through this awesome how to create a dApp on Ethereum workshop. Thanks, Antoine.
Cool. Yeah. So today we're just going through a hands-on tutorial. I'll send you a link of the written tutorial here. And the idea is to get you to create a decentralized app on Ethereum. So it includes a front end, the smart contract, and then the connection between the front end and the smart contract. Maybe I'll share my screen already. You guys see my screen, right? Okay, yeah. So this tutorial includes a basic HTML web page, a basic Solidity smart contract, and then code for the connection between the web page and the smart contract using a library, a JavaScript library called Ethers.js. I'll be walking through every step of how to do this. So if you're a beginner, don't worry. Just try to follow along and do your best. So Yeah, this is perfect if you've never created a dApp before, or even if you have, this might be like a new way for you. So, okay, the first step would be to create a new directory just for your app. I'll share my screen, hold on. So what you want to do first is go to a terminal and just make a new directory for your app. You can call it.
Can you zoom in a little bit on your terminal, make it a bit bigger? Thanks.
Yeah. So I mean, you can do this on a terminal or in your Windows or whatever. But I'm just going to make a new directory called a block hack, or just like front end tutorial, and then just go into that front end tutorial. And at this point, you can just go to a text editor and open up your project or your folder. Hold on. One sec. He's trying to figure out Crapcast. Oops. Okay. 1 second. Okay, we're good. So then I'm using Atom as a text editor, but you can use any text editor like Atom or Visual Studio Code. If you don't have that, you can also just edit in the text file. But I recommend using text editor like Atom or Visual Studio Code. So if you don't have that, just give it a quick download. So now we've got a folder imported into Atom. And we just very simply, we can just create a new file called index.html. That's our HTML file. And we just want to start up a basic HTML structure. I just typed in HTML and enter. So you can do that as well, or you could just copy this. Yeah, I gotta leave you guys some time to type it up. I'll take out the stuff we don't actually need just to make it more simple. Don't necessarily need this at the moment. So yeah, we just need these head and body tags inside HTML. So this will just make a simple web page. Yeah. And once we're in here, we have to, let's just make some buttons. So before I start, I want to discuss what kind of app we want to make. So we go here. So when we're doing a smart contract, I just want to teach you how to do a couple basic things. One is read from a smart contract, and the other one is write to a smart contract. And that's about it, just to make things simple for you. And the idea is to have something simple that actually works so that you can build on it. So all we're going to do is we're just going to have functions that just read and write from a smart contract. So with that in mind, for our front end, we're just going to put read and write buttons. So we can just do this. We're just going to put a label So in this case, we're going to read and write a string. Let's call it our favorite color. So and that's just going to be a label that displays our favorite color. And then below that, we're going to have an input that lets you write your favorite color. And also, we need a button that will let us write the color. So if you look, this is essentially all the front end we need. So I'll just give you a few moments to write it down.
Antoine, do you want to give us a little zoom on that as well? Just
yeah. Sorry. There you go. So yeah, this is all the front end that we should need, I think. And like I said, extremely simple. So what we're going to do now is we have to host the website. This part is a little bit trickier. It requires a few prerequisites. So get rid of that. Yeah, so if you haven't done it yet, what you actually have to do, this isn't part of the tutorial, but it's sort of something that you need to be able to install like the hosting program that we need. The hosting program lets you actually just host a website on your computer as if your computer is a server. Well, your computer is the server. So you need to install npm. Many of you already may have installed it. But if you haven't, then you need to install npm. I put the link to this written tutorial in the chat, so you can just follow along on the written tutorial as well. So you need to install npm, and then you need to install light server with this command. Seeing as I've already installed it, once you have installed it, all you have to do is first check that your file is there, put ls, and then you just have to just put light server. So, not having installed it, I guess. Install the other versions. Install this. You can install light server. Even better, I can show you how to do it as well. So now that we've installed light server, just go light server. And yeah. So this window. Let's put it in Brave. So localhost 3000 is where our app is hosted. So let's put it in here. And so at the top here, we have a label that will display the favorite color. And here we have an input, and you can write your favorite color and then click it. And that is basically your front end right there. So actually, we'll just put a little placeholder here. Put a placeholder equals favorite color. And then we will put a so yeah, there we go. Very, very basic front end, but the point is to teach you how to do it from A to Z, even with a big front end, so a basic front end, just how to get a fully working dApp so you can build on that. Once you know how to do the basics, you can expand upon that. Right, so here's our front end. Are there any questions so far? Because after this, we're going to move on to the smart contract.
Yeah, so there was just one question. I was just typing the answer out, but yeah. So will the presentations be recorded for later viewing? I would like yes. The answer is yes, 100%. We're going to put this up as soon as we're done with the live video. It'll be up on our Crowdcast, so you can watch it. You know, at 2 times speed or 5 times speed or half speed if you want.
Yeah.
And
to be honest, I think it's better if I just create a new video afterwards, because we have a lot of pauses in here, a lot of questions.
no
Yeah, so
no, it should be good. But in any case, you can also reach out to us on the Discord if you have any issues, and we'll definitely sort you out.
exactly.
All right, cool.
So does anyone have any questions about the HTML frontend so far? If not, we'll just move on to the next one. So, okay, so that's the front end, very basic. And now that was part one, and part two is the smart contract. So for the smart contract, we're going to go to a website called remix.ethereum.org, and this is a browser IDE where you can write smart contracts, and it'll compile them for you. It'll check for errors, check for syntax errors, and it's a good all-around way to practice Solidity. You don't have to install anything, so it's right there ready for you to work. So what you can do is go to remix.ethereum.org. Make sure that you have this compiler tab and deploy and run transactions tab. So if you go to this plugin manager, you have to find the compile tab, activate it, and deploy and run transactions, and activate it. Yeah, the compiler tab will compile the smart contract for you in bytecode, make it deployable, and the deploy tab will let you deploy the contracts. It also lets you connect to MetaMask. So we're going to use MetaMask to deploy smart contracts onto the testnet. So if you don't have MetaMask, you have to go get MetaMask and set it up. MetaMask is here at metamask.io. What you have to do is download it onto your browser and set up a wallet. You have to go through a wallet creation process, which includes saving your 12-word key. So yeah, you have to do all that. Thing is, I'm not sure if people have MetaMask or not. So in these workshops, I usually let people have like 5-10 minutes to install MetaMask. If there's anyone who wants to do these things, to install MetaMask, to set up NPM if they need to, just let me know. If not, I'll just blast through it. So if no one says anything, I'll just blast right through it. So yeah, you got to set up MetaMask. And then once you have MetaMask, you can go into Remix, create a new file. So you just make it like tutorial.sol. And to create a new file, you have to press this little plus button up here. So let's just get straight into writing the smart contract. The first thing you have to do is declare the Solidity version. So it's the latest version right now, 7.2. Let's just use 7.2. So this is how you declare the Solidity version. You got to say that it's 7.2 or higher. This little thing means higher. So when you create a contract, you just declare a contract by typing contract and two little curly brackets. So what do we want this contract to do? We want this contract to be able to read and write a value. So the first thing we need is a value. So our value is going to be a favorite color. So we're actually just going to make a string, declare a string variable. We're going to make it public, which means anybody can see it, and call it fav color. Yeah, and you can just press Control S or compile. Oh, sorry, I completely forgot to get the contract name. So the contract can be the contract name. Let's just call it fav color, and then the string variable has to be called something different. So let's call this favorite color. We'll just call it color. So here we have a variable. Now we want to read or write it. When you make a variable public, you can automatically read it and automatically creates a getter function for you called color. But let's just do this explicitly so everybody understands. Now we just want to make a get function and a set function. So, or should I say a read function and a write function? So let's make a read function. We call it function read color public. We've got to make it view. View means it's read only because we're only reading the value. So then all we have to do here, so we have to make it return a certain value type. Has to return a string. And the string has to have the memory modifier on it because it's not going to be in the storage of the blockchain. It's not going to be stored in the blockchain. It's only when you input a value, that value is just going to be exist in the memory of the execution environment when the smart contract when the function is being executed. So read color, and all you have to do here is just return the color. So let's compile it to check. Sorry, returns, not return. So that is how you do a read function. So when you call this function from outside the smart contract, it will return you this value. And that means that when you deploy this contract, this function will let you read the value of this variable. So that's how you read a variable from a smart contract. So now we're just going to make another function to write. So write color. We need to give it an input because it needs to know what to write. So the input, we're going to call it string color. And then all we have to do is just assign the input to the variable color. And that is your smart contract. So who thought that was complicated? Anybody think that was complicated? Or do you think it was simple?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
What's the difference between color and underscore color?
Okay, so this is the input variable. So when you call this function, you have to send along an input with it, right? Or else it won't work. So if I want to write a variable, I need to provide this here to say that whenever I call this function, I must provide a variable called color. So whenever I provide the variable, like I say if it's red or blue or magenta or any color really, or any string really, so then when I provide when I call this function, this underscore color is the variable that I'm providing, and this color is the variable that's inside the smart contract. So I'm just assigning the I'm saying that the variable in the smart contract equals the variable that I provided. Yeah, that's just a, yeah. Is that understandable?
Yeah, totally. So the inside of the function, we're referring to what's being passed into the function with underscore color, and then we're storing it into the actual storage on the blockchain through the non underscore color, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay,
because the
cool.
non underscore color is up here. It's a variable that we declared inside
Cool.
the smart contract. So the smart contract has like a kind of slot, right? A storage slot where you can put in any string, any word, and so when you're calling this function, you take the word, you give it a word, and then that word goes into the storage slot called color. Yeah. So that is the smart contract, and that is essentially part two. Although we still have to deploy it, so I've compiled it. Now we want to deploy the contract. What we have to do is go to the Deploy and Run Transactions tab. Make sure your MetaMask is installed and unlocked. You gotta have some ROPS and Ether in there. I'm not sure if Faucet's working right now. Let's check. Yeah, so Faucet doesn't seem to be working at the moment, but gotta. Okay, so I do have some ROPS and Ether here. If anybody doesn't manage to get ROPS and Ether, just give me your address and I'll send you some. Just paste your address in the chat here if you want some ROPS and Ether if you can't get me. I do have some from before, so okay. Now I can, so you gotta select injected Web3. That's gonna connect to MetaMask. You can see that your address here, up here, is the same as the one here. That means it's connected. And so, yeah, like I said, once you compile the contract, since it's compiled, there's no errors, then you go to environment. Then you can see your contract here, fab color. And all you have to do is press the deploy button. So yeah, and then you just you get a pop-up in MetaMask, and then you confirm that. So then you can go out to Etherscan. If you don't know where to go, just copy your address on MetaMask, and then paste it into etherscan.io, and you'll see that you have a pending transaction. You should see. So this will go through, and then once that goes through, then the smart contract will be deployed. It looks like it just got deployed. So Remix lets you interact with the smart contract through these buttons here. So there's actually two. The blue functions are read functions. The orange ones are write functions. There's actually two read functions. The reason for that is when you make a public string like this, it actually automatically creates a read function by the name of the variable. That's why there's a function called color here. Color will just do the exact same thing as read color. It will return the string that is color. Now let's try and write the color. So it's pretty evident that I need to put in. Here's the variable I need to pass. So let's put in purple. Then you can just go transact. And that will pop up another transaction on MetaMask, which you have to approve. If you go to the data here, you can see that there's some data being passed. It's not immediately clear what it is just by looking at it, but basically the word purple is in here somewhere. So that's going to confirm on the blockchain, and when that does, then purple should be stored inside this variable, and we should be able to read it. Just looking for any questions. Yeah, I think we're gonna record this video so you can follow along afterwards. But also, I'm planning to record just like a proper tutorial video of this tutorial as well. So, okay. Okay. So the transaction went through. You can see here on MetaMask that it confirmed. You can also confirm it on Etherscan as well. So yeah, Etherscan is, for those who don't know, is a blockchain explorer which shows you all the transactions that have ever happened on Ethereum. So you can go and see your own transactions and make sure that they've worked. So yeah, now we've done the right color. Now let's read it. And so now the string is now has the value of purple. So the transaction was a success. And a little thing about smart contracts is that when you read a value, when you have a view function, the answer comes instantaneously. You don't have to pay any transaction fee because you're just reading a value. When you write a value, you have to pay a transaction fee because you're making a change on the blockchain. Like you're changing a value on the blockchain. So you have to pay gas for that. Because whenever you change a value on the blockchain, it's called a state change. Whenever you make a state change, there's a cost to it. When you're reading the value, there's no state change. You're just reading the value. So when you're writing the value, that's why you have to do a transaction when you write the value, but you don't have to do a transaction when you read the value. So yeah, and that's it for part 2. This is our smart contract. We've tested it inside Remix. So we've done part 1, which is just create the front end, and we've done part 2, which is create the smart contract and deploy it. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, if you're on MetaMask, you have to select the Robson test network over here. You also have to get Robson F. You can do that once you're in the Robson test network. Press buy. There's a test faucet here, and you can just request. Although it doesn't seem to be working at the moment. So if you need to test Ether, then just message me on Discord or just message me right here. So that's it. Part 1 and part 2 done. And by the way, all these instructions are written over here as well. So okay. Part 3 is connecting the two. This is the hardest part. So yeah, let's get into it. For part 3, we need to use a JavaScript library called Ethers.js. Yeah. So Ethers.js, if you go to their GitHub, so just a little explanation. The Ethers project is a complete Ethereum wallet implementation and utilities in JavaScript. There's a list of features here. You can manage private keys. You can import and export mnemonic phrases. You can deal with ENS names. You can connect to Ethereum nodes. You can work with smart contracts. You can send transactions. You can do basically mostly everything that you need to do with Ethereum using this library. So it's very, very useful, and it's quite intuitive and easy to use once you get the hang of it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use this script here to enable Ethers.js in our browser. It's a very nice way, very easy way to get it working in our app. So let's go look at our web app. So we're gonna just use this script here. This will put Ethers version 5 into our front end. So what we need to do is just paste it into our front end here. In the head probably is good. You can paste it anywhere actually, but I usually just paste it in the head. And what that will do is if you want to confirm that it's working, all you have to do is go to your terminal, right? Well, actually, don't. Yeah, so just go to your server. We did light server again. So once you serve your page again, it's localhost 3000, and so how we're going to check that Ethers has been imported into our front end, you just right-click and inspect, and go to the console and type in Ethers. And if you get that, that means that Ethers is in there and that you can do anything you want now. So now that Ethers is in your app, you can basically connect to Ethereum. Makes it very easy to connect to Ethereum, to read smart contracts, to write to smart contracts, to send transactions, to set up programmatic wallets, send transactions programmatically, all kinds of different things. So once you've done this, you're basically good to go in terms of dApp development. Yeah. So now what we need to do is connect to MetaMask, and we need to connect to our smart contract so that a user can come along, log in through MetaMask, and basically use your app. So actually, let's go back to Brave. Yeah. So localhost 3000. All right. So what we're going to do now is the first step is to connect to MetaMask. So let's go back to our app. So let's go back to Brave here. What do we got to do? So that's a smart contract. This is the hardest part. So this is the part where you want to pay attention. And yeah, we've imported Ethers.js into the HTML page. Now what we have to do is create a new folder, a new file called a JavaScript file. So it's a new file, call it index.js. So we have index.js now, and we're going to want to import index.js into our app as well. Source equals index.js. And so let's make a little function in here, right? Called init. So that's gonna be called, like, and make sure that that's called when the app boots up. And so to do that, go here and just call the function like that. So that means that whenever the app is loaded, it's going to call this function. So yeah, we can just test that here. Now we can do our console log. This app has the init function has been called. So let's load the app. Let's see. So we can see that this init function has been called, was logged into the console. So yeah, we just want to test things along the way to see if it's working. So instead of that, we're just going to put app initialize. Okay, so what we're going to do here is Come on. So we're going to. Okay, so this is how you can connect with MetaMask. All you have to do is just put in this. There's other ways as well, but this is basically the most simple way. So we're just going to use it. Window.ethereum.enable. So what happens when you do that? Is that you have to connect through MetaMask, and it lets you connect to the app through MetaMask. So now MetaMask should be connected. And let's, so we got to also create a provider as well. So provider variable, that is basically our connection to Ethereum. So let's just check something here. Our connection to MetaMask should be called web3.currentProvider. So that exists. That this object represents our connection to MetaMask. So what we're going to do here is we're going to define a provider variable here. Let's use let provider equals new ethers.provider. Just type it out just to get it better into your memory. Ethers.providers.web3 provider web3.current provider, and then Robson. So what's going on here? It's saying create a new provider create a new Web3 provider, and then the provider is going to connect through Web3.current provider, which is injected by MetaMask. So you're connecting through MetaMask, and then connect on the Robson testnet. So that's how you connect a provider. So let's go test again. So now type in provider. Make sure that everything's there. Provider is not there. Okay, hold on, let's check something. Oh, sorry. Actually, what we need to do is declare the provider outside the function. So just let provider appear, and then assign provider into this. So now we have provider. So now we have the provider. We actually should have a connection to the Ethereum blockchain through MetaMask, right? We can even go ahead and call this MetaMask provider as well, just to make things a little bit more clear. So you can do things like this. You can do await MetaMask provider dot get balance. So this is now we're reading from the blockchain. One of the basic things you can do is just read the balance of any address. So I'm just going to read the balance of my own address here, and it gives me this. This is a big number format, but this is actually a number that represents my Ethereum balance on Robson. I mean, if we want to make things even more clear, yeah, actually, that's fine, MetaMask provider. But basically, this is my balance on Robson. Now I have, through MetaMask provider, I have a way to interact with the blockchain. So that is the first step in connecting my dApp to the Ethereum blockchain and to my smart contracts. Does anyone have any questions so far?
I just want to say this is super cool.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, more to come. Like, yeah. So, okay, that's MetaMask provider. So the next step is, all right, so we have to get some information about our smart contracts. So we have to import the smart contract ABI and the smart contract address. So we can get those from Remix. So let's just go here. So let's contract, right? That's for the contract object, or okay, let contract address. give it a second. And then let's contract ABI. So whenever you deploy a contract, the contract gets a contract address. Addresses come in two varieties. One is contract addresses, and the other one is user accounts. So when you're in MetaMask, you see you have all your user accounts. This is a user account. It's an address that's controlled by me, a human. I know the private key behind it, or at least my app does, or MetaMask does, so I can control it. When you deploy a contract, it goes into a contract address. And when you deploy a contract, hold on, it's lost in the scan. When you deploy a contract, it gives you a contract address. And the contract address is not controlled by a human. It's controlled by code. And it's controlled by whatever code that you programmed when you deployed the smart contract. So this contract address here is controlled by this code. And it can do only what the code tells it to, nothing more and nothing less. So yeah, basically we have contract addresses. So this contract has an address. So we're just gonna put it here. I just copied it here. You can also copy it from Etherscan too. And the contract also has an ABI. ABI stands for Application Binary Interface. And what it is it's just like in JSON format, it's just a list of all of the variables and all of the functions and all of the parameters that need to go into the functions. So it's basically like a cheat sheet for your program to know which functions it's able to call. And so the ABI has to match a smart contract. To get the ABI, we can just click here, ABI, in the Compile tab. When you compile your contract, it creates the ABI for you. So you can just click the ABI here, and you can put it in the contract ABI variable. Without the ABI, then your program won't know the names of the contracts, the names of the parameters. Yeah, you can see here. There's a name here, a variable called color, a function called read color with no inputs, and a function called write color, and with one input of type string. So yeah, see this type function, type function. Okay, it's just the functions. So we don't need this quotation here. So yeah, here's the ABI. I just collapsed it to make it easier to look at, but I mean, for you guys, yeah, we don't need to collapse it. It's not that long of an ABI, so we'll just keep it up here. Actually, yeah, let's collapse it here. So we have the contract address, the contract ABI, and the contract. Now, what we want to do next is we want to connect to the contract. So how do we do that? Or actually, no, next what we want to do is we have a provider object, but we want to create a signer object. And the signer object will actually let you write to the blockchain using your MetaMask wallet. And so let's create a signer. And to create the signer object, yeah, we can do this. So what we want to do is so we can get the MetaMask accounts with this code over here. Provider.list accounts. Await provider.list accounts. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, we're using asynchronous JavaScript functions. So when you create your function and you want to make it an asynchronous function, you put the keyword async in front of your function. And that means that you can use the await keyword. What it does is it lets you run code that takes time. So the program will just pause while the code executes. And then so it doesn't like run ahead of itself. So
Don't
that's why.
don't feel bad if this is like, you know, so some high level concept. Async functions are not a basic JavaScript or programming concept by any means, guys. And that's why we're going to be putting this video up as a recording, so you can go back and you know, pause and like look things up. But we wanted to give you guys a nice full run through of the workshop, and then you can go back and revisit all these things. And again, find us in the Discord if you have any questions.
Well, all you have to know about the async is that it just lets you run some code that takes time. So it just waits, the program pauses and waits for that code to finish. So in this case, we're going to get your MetaMask accounts. It's going to take some time to get it. So we do await provider.list accounts. MetaMask provider.list accounts. And then what we want to do, we can do signer equals MetaMask provider dot get signer, and then from accounts 0, which is basically the account that you're logged into at the time. So that's declaring the signer. So let's check that. See if it worked. Okay. So we have MetaMask provider and we have signer. Yeah, so signer is there, and inside the signer, it has my address. So yeah. So that's my address from MetaMask. So there's the difference between the provider and the signer is that the provider, you can read anything from the blockchain, but you can't write anything. With the signer, you can actually send transactions because it's connected to your wallet. So with the signer, you can send Ether. With the provider, you cannot send Ether, but you can read balances. So think of it like that. With the provider, you can only read from the smart contracts. With the signer, you can actually write to smart contracts. And you can also read, of course. But the signer lets you read, whereas the read and write, but the provider only lets you read. So now we have the signer, and the next step is we want to declare the contract. So for that, we do contract equals new ethers dot contract. This is how you do connect to a contract in Ethers. And then you want to put the address, the ABI, and the signer. So contract address, contract ABI. This is where the ABI comes in, and the address. Then signer. So this is, now that you connect to the contract, you can do anything you want with the contract. So let's try. Like, this is a really good way to practice inside your smart contract connections inside your app. So we refresh this. Now we have contract. Right. So now we can actually interact with the contract straight away inside the console. So if you just do await contract dot names the functions again, it's just read color and write color. So await contract dot read color. Purple. You can also do await contract dot write color. And put, like red. Then it automatically gives you MetaMask pop-up, and you can confirm. So now imagine you have these two. You can just call the function like this. It's not too hard to put into your front end. So we're just going to wait for that to confirm. Meanwhile, let's go back to here, and let's create two functions. And so that transaction confirmed. So now let's take a look at our front end here. So we have fav color and fav color input. So for the read, let's go let fav color equals await contract dot read color, and then document element by ID. So this is some HTML stuff right here. Have color, but inner HTML equals okay. So what we can also do is just call the read function here. So when it initializes, it should automatically read it into the. So yeah, looks like it did it. Favorite color, red. So just read from the smart contract and put it up on the front end. All I did was I got the favorite color from the contract, and then I put that value into the HTML element. See, inner HTML equals favorite color plus fav color, and fav color comes from the contract. And this function is called inside the init function. Well, yeah. We can also, put a button here just to make things a little bit more clear for people. So read color. And then here on click equals read. So yeah, actually I'll just get rid of this favorite color here. Fav color. Yeah, we can get rid of this too. So it won't read it when you initialize the app, but rather it'll read it when you press the button. So read fav color. So now if I press this, it's going to say red, or whatever the favorite color happens to be. Now let's just hook up this input to this and this button to the right function. So we go to right. So let's color to right equals, again, document get element by ID. But this time instead of okay, actually we'll call this fav color label. Fav color label. So here fav color input we have. So get element by ID fav color input dot value. So that's the color to right. And then just go await contract dot right color. And color to right. And that's about it. Let's see. And here for the button here, we need to do on click equals right. Yeah. Okay, so let's test that. So basically when I click the button, it's going to call this right function, and then it's going to take the value from this input and then put it into the smart, and then call the smart contract using the value. So I'm just going to say like, I don't know, crimson. Okay, so then I can just write here. Oh, looks like something went wrong. Let's see. Right. On click is right. Let's see if this works. Crimson. Yeah, that should work. Okay. Let's make this a bit bigger. Okay, something went wrong with the button click there. Button on, click. That's weird. Color to right. There's something wrong with the button. I don't know what. Oh, maybe I didn't. Oh, I didn't close the button. Button. Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh, that's weird. Happened. Well, I'm not sure what happened there. It's some kind of HTML error that I got mixed up somewhere. Let's see. Label. Yeah, because I don't think there's anything wrong with the function. Input. No. Yeah, everything seems to be correct. Well, anyways, you can see that the right function is working. So if I do a right, so if I just like instead of clicking the button, I just put my favorite color here, crimson, and then I just call the right function, or rather await. Oh wait, did I put await? Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, yeah. So if I just type in right here, it's going to write crimson for the smart contract. So that part works. It's just that when I click the button, for some reason, it's not doing anything. Yeah, not sure why that is. Sometimes things happen in programming, you just don't know why. Maybe you've got to figure it out. This is not even a smart contract error or a blockchain error. It's just something going on with the HTML that I seem to be missing. Input. Anyhow, like we actually did succeed in writing to the blockchain by calling the function manually instead of with the button. So we just typed in right instead of clicking the button. So that transaction is going through, and that the favorite color should be crimson. Right now, the favorite color is red. The transaction has not gone through yet. So as soon as it does, then it should change. So we'll just wait for that for a second. There we go. It's gone through, and now it's crimson. So that's how you read and write from a blockchain using a dApp. Unfortunately, this last little piece here, when you click the button, didn't actually work. Let's see if there's any errors here. Not sure. But yeah, that's how you create a dApp on Ethereum. So like I said, it's very simple. You just have like a few HTML elements, but you can easily increase the complexity of the front end and increase the complexity of the smart contract. But the basic building blocks of how to connect to your app to MetaMask and how to connect to a smart contract, all of that stuff remains the same. So hopefully you can use this. You should be able to use this to build like more interesting decentralized apps than just reading and writing your favorite color. So yeah, that's it from me. Does anyone have any more questions? I'm going to stop sharing my screen now.
Super cool. Yeah, so we're going to stick around for a few more minutes. If anybody has questions, feel free to use the Ask a Question button and check out our polls there. But thank you so much, Antoine. This was super informative. I'm always astonished with what you can actually put together in a very short period of time, and connecting fundamental web development with blockchain development, and
Exactly.
it just comes together
Yeah.
so magically. And it's awesome that there's like the testnet, Robson testnet to just play around with test ether, because if we were trying to test this on the actual mainnet, we'd be paying a tons of cash. So that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Exactly.
So just very quickly, if anybody needs help with this workshop, we know we went fairly quickly, but that's the whole point. We're recording this so you can watch it later on and go step by step and pause the video at any point in time. But if you get stuck at any point, please reach out to us on the Discord in our Workshops 101 chat.
Yeah.
We will be there to help you out and support you. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
So feel free to do that. Don't be afraid at all.
Yeah. Any basic questions, doesn't matter how basic, and if you have more advanced questions, that's good too.
Yeah, 100%. And in an attempt to always keep improving, I'm going to drop a link in the chat here to a little form, a little survey for this workshop. We're going to be doing this for all our workshops. Just take a minute, say what workshop you attended, what you got out of it, and any ways that we can improve would be super beneficial to us, because we want to keep making these better and more valuable for you. So even if you're watching this on the recording, please head over to that Airtable and give us your feedback. Okay, so I've got a couple questions still for you.
Sure.
How long have you been doing this? Because you seem to breeze through it. Oh, this is very easy. La la la. Give folks an idea of how much time you've put into this to get to the
I've
level that you're
been
at.
programming. Well, I first started touching smart contracts like 4 years ago. I've been into crypto since like 9 years ago when I first got into Bitcoin. But I've only started programming smart contracts about, a bit more than 4 years ago. It took me a while to actually, here's the thing, guys. It can be, what I showed you, it's very easy to do once you know how. The hard part is figuring it out in the first place. So I spent a lot of time actually getting there. Took me a long time to just be able to do that basic app. I could program smart contracts and stuff, but to actually connect it to the app took me a long time. So yeah, it's just the fact of actually being able to write a smart contract, deploy a smart contract, all those basic things, to connect it to your front end, are very powerful. And even if they seem easy, it's it's easy, but it's hard to figure out in the first place. So once you know how, it's easy. That's the key, though. So just follow the tutorials. They're on the portal, the Ethereum tutorials. They should show you how to do these basic things. And the key is just to know how to do certain basic steps. That's basically a lot of what blockchain development comes down to.
Yeah, so when you were coming up, just first making your first smart contracts, you probably didn't have as good a tutorial right there. So right now, everybody can take the benefit of Antoine's 4 years of toiling, more or less, without this same kind of support. So please lean on us, folks, and we'll get you caught right up to where we're at today. Cool. I want to ask you a little bit about what other projects you're working on. I know you got this project called DevCache. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah. So DevCache is the goal behind Blockchain Developers United, is the network of developer communities, is to create an environment where people can learn and learn from each other and get the benefit of each other's knowledge. So the point is a lot of things in blockchain. It's the same thing I'm saying before, but it bears repeating. It can be really difficult to figure out how to do something, but once you know how, it can be very easy. So What if you had a community of people where you could just go and find out how to do these basic things? So that's what we're doing here. Like we have these tutorials. I just showed you how to create a basic app. It might have taken you like a week of work how to figure out how to do instead of just me showing you how to do it step by step. The nature of programming is such that you always get stuck on little niggly things that you don't want to spend time on, because you want to spend time on building, on like creating, right? You don't want to spend time on debugging like tiny little errors. But that's just the nature of programming. It happens. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to cut down on that a lot by when we have working solutions, we just spread them across our communities like we are doing right now. So that way people can just get up and running and just go. So DevCash is a cryptocurrency that we created, and we call it cash for the developer economy. So we created a bounty platform where you can go and you can go put cryptocurrency down, and people can you put a bounty. So you put a task and a reward, and people can do your task and then earn your reward, or you can go and you can earn rewards from other people's tasks. So one of the main things that I hope to see on that is like people asking for debugging, for dev questions, like Stack Overflow. You know, when you program, you always Google errors and stuff. So if you have an error that's really bothering you, you can go and put like a reward for someone to help you. When they help you, you release the reward. When you put a reward there, it just increases the chances that someone will actually come and help you, because then they can earn the reward. So there's that aspect where you can get people to help you on your bugs. There's also, you can put bounties on creating apps as well. You can put bounties on anything developer related, really. And yeah, we haven't really put the bounty system into action yet. It's kind of expensive on Ethereum. But yeah, we're trying to do that. If you want to test it, try it out, go to so like you get a feel for it. If you're interested in bounties and helping out, I have bounties as well that I can give you in DevCash to work on stuff. So just come reach out to me on Discord. If you go to the website, you try it out, you think it's interesting, yeah, just go look at Discord. And of course, yeah, so we've also written tutorials on portal.blockhack.ca. And we're trying to, my Discord handle. Yeah. Here's my Discord handle here. You can also find me inside the Blockhack Discord as well. Yeah, so come find me in the Blockhack Discord if you have any developer problems, if you need help with the hackathon, and help with the hackathon bounties too. Don't feel discouraged. Like if you think you're not a good developer, like there's not that many good blockchain developers right now. So yeah, even if you don't know anything, you still have chances of winning bounties. So just go for it and do your best.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I find it so fascinating, like the communities that can be built around and within blockchain and using technology. And I think you got a really good idea there, building like a community around devs, because like we need to support each other, and the idea of dev cash is just so cool. I've loved seeing this build over the time that we've known each other.
Yeah.
And also to your point, like I'm just looking at the polls again here. There's like 4 folks that voted that they want to move towards getting full-time crypto in the industry, and 25% of us, they also want to get into part-time. So there's folks here that
so look out for that in this hackathon. If you want to get into full-time or part-time, yeah, there's a lot of people really like desperate looking for devs. There's even some companies in Blockhack as well that are working on their projects within Blockhack. So if you just like happen to join their team and worked on it, they might even want to hire you afterwards. Like there's some companies out there that would do that are working on Blockhack right now. So just go around, look for teams. Yeah, there's people looking for devs right now. And they like, don't worry if you're not that good at it right away. Like the people, most people are willing to work with people who say, "Hey, I'm not that good right now, but I want, I'm really going to put a lot of effort and energy into learning." Like people will work with you if you make that kind of commitment, just to like learn as you go, because there's really not a lot of devs out there. So if you want to be a dev, you're in a seller's market when you're selling your dev skills, like
Yeah.
huge seller's market. Yeah. So
And
just go for it. Feel confident and it's okay to learn as you go. That people will work with you. Will work with that. Yeah. So
awesome.
yeah, go for it.
Cool. I got one more question here. I asked Eric in the first interview, but you know the latest craze in blockchain has been like DeFi, and even more recent is this concept of NFTs that have been around, you know, since
Yeah.
CryptoKitties, but seem to have like a resurgence here. So
Yeah,
give us a
NFT
little
is not
insight. Yeah.
more recent than DeFi, but yeah, there's always these these trends in crypto. I wouldn't put too much stock in it. Like uh, if you want, you can capitalize on the trend. Like this is the only like really valuable thing to do is just like try to capitalize it on try to capitalize on the trend by creating like an app. And when you're doing that, you're trying to capitalize on short-term trends. This DeFi is like a short-term trend in crypto, I believe. What you want to do is just build something and then just launch it. Like, don't think about it, don't build it, don't work on it for like 2 years. Just build and launch what you have. So that's how you would capitalize on it. Yeah, like I have a couple of friends who made this thing called Snow Swap, and they built it and they launched it, and after like 2 weeks, they had like $10 million locked into their contract. It's pretty crazy. It's like you just have all these people willing to like deposit money into smart contracts, to gain interest. Nobody knows, can predict how all these things are going to pan out. But yeah, again, it's definitely a short-term trend, DeFi, in the sense that like it's not going to go away in the long term. It's going to stay around in the long term. But there will be many other trends that like make it seem less important. In the same way that ICOs was the huge thing. It's like, oh, crypto is like it's all about ICOs. And yeah, like ICOs still exist. They're just not the most important thing about crypto. And the same thing is probably true of DeFi.
Very
NFTs
interesting.
are, yeah, non-fungible tokens are probably more interesting to me than DeFi. But again, it's like only a small piece of what's possible with crypto. So yeah, like yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that opinion there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're gonna wrap up now, but yeah, just to reiterate, folks, that if you need help with the workshop that we just did, please come find us in the Discord channel. We're there to help you out, and there is the link to the Airtable. I'll drop it here one more time, so it's just the last link there. Apparently I can't drop it because it's a duplicate link. So scroll up a little bit, see the Airtable link for us, and give us some feedback so that we can make these workshops better. And yeah, again, Antoine, thank you so much. It's
You're
been a
welcome. Thanks,
pleasure.
everybody.
This was a great
Yeah.
workshop. Yeah, and
Yeah.
we'll see you over. Oh, do you want to let folks know where to find you outside of Discord? Like, do you have
No,
a
just find me on
Twitter?
Discord. Yeah, just find me
Yeah. Okay.
on
Cool.
Discord.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys in the Discord channel, and we'll see you
Yeah.
later on today for another workshop. Take
Okay.
care, guys.
See you guys.